right, folks, welcome to the iNASCAR Federated Auto Parts 200 here at Richmond. This is a new broadcast league for us here at the IWM Broadcast Network, and as usual, you've got myself, Rick Souza, and my co-broadcaster here, John DeRuchis, here in the booth. And tonight we also have the league founders and admins. That's going to be Josh Douglas, Matt Allen, and Scott Thomas here joining us tonight. Guys, we're excited.
Yeah, we are too. I appreciate you guys coming on board and broadcasting our event. We're looking forward to having a new face to iNASCAR.
Tell us a little bit about how did this league start?
Basically, it was the three of us were in another league, and that league kind of had fallen out. And I made a joke that I would start one, and they both said, "Go for it, and we'll help you set sail and get this thing rolling." And we're in our second season now, and a solid 20 to 25 cars each week. And we've had some awesome racing. We have a bunch of great guys. We have a great admin team. Very little issues, and just a fun way to race around on a Thursday night.
You know, that sounds...
Rick, that sounds really familiar. I think we're going to say the same thing.
We were, yeah. That's kind of how our league, and then really how our broadcast team came together. You know, we were all involved in another league. It really wasn't what we wanted out of a league from the type of people involved, and you know, we all kind of our group just split off, and those that we felt were good, ethical people came and joined us, and then other people came in, and you know. It's been fun, so we're super glad to hear that's how your league started. That's a lot of symmetry for us.
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't do it without the two guys that I got by my side. I mean, one takes care of points and your penalties. The other one takes care of pretty much everything else in between. I help out when I can and where I can and whatever they need me to do, but they pretty much run this thing. So I have to thank Josh and Scott for everything they do.
Thank you, Matt.
No problem, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's just something Scott and I kind of got involved during COVID playing Xbox, and then when iRacing hit the big screen, I says, "Man, I think I'm gonna try iRacing," and he was like, "Man, you're gonna leave me out," and it wasn't but a couple short months later he was on iRacing, and we've just been very passionate. We're huge NASCAR fanatics anyway, and this is fun.
Yeah, again, that marries with us so much. We're kind of the same way. We, you know, IWM also has a podcast that we run each week, kind of doing the same thing, recapping, you know, the league races that we broadcast as well as NASCAR as well. So, you know, we're passionate about what we do. We're super stoked to be here tonight to be doing this with you guys as well. Tell us about the racers, and looking at the guys who are there. You've got a broad range of I ratings and driver quality mixed in here. That's great to see.
I mean,
yes. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh, I was just gonna say, you said it. I mean, we got a broad range, and I don't want to hear anybody say that just because they have a high rating makes them a bad driver or a good driver or whatever the case may be, because all these guys basically look out for each other. Like I said earlier, we rarely have any real bad issues. I mean, we're all competitive guys, so we have issues where somebody might run over somebody else and think it's their fault or whatever the case may be. But for the most part, we get guys that have low I rating or up here at the top, and we have guys that are high I rating or at the bottom, and vice versa. So it's a great spectrum of people to have together.
Well, that sounds great. Well, it looks like you guys are getting ready to go to qualifying. We'll let you get back to it, and look forward to the race.
Thank you, Rick. Thank you, John, and I hope we put on a good show and don't dirty it up too much tonight.
It'll be all good. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rick, it looks like we got qualifying starting right now. It'll be a 5-minute qualifying, 2-lap for every single driver, and a couple drivers that I'm on the lookout for here tonight. is Brogdon there. He is at the top of the leaderboard in the points, and he has some of the best stats on the season. So I'm looking to see what he does. There's Jordan Winsel right there in that number 81 Camaro, about to make his lap around here in Richmond. And, Rick, this is a flat track, and everybody knows when it comes to flat tracks and these next-gen cars, you have to be careful with throttle control. So that is something I'm going to pay attention to tonight.
Absolutely. And as this race goes on, we talked about other races that this league has run. They did have a lot of green flag runs, so certainly pit strategy will come into play, tire strategy, and and also teamwork with this league. Like many leagues, there's lots of teams out there, so we'll expect to see just how those teams play together and how they scheme and plan.
Sure. And right now, looking at the top of the board, you have Winsel at the top right now, running a 22.7. You just saw Jeffers now and Brogdon, like I just mentioned before. Everybody making their laps around. Brogdon jumps into P2. You have Japs, Jeffers, and Madsen there now moves away for Murphy, who took the 5th spot. So everybody making their qualifying laps right now. The top 2 separated by 100th of a second. With about 3 minutes to go in qualifying, there's still some drivers out there, but everybody seems to be making their times around Richmond.
Absolutely. So we're kind of waiting to see who's coming up next and who will be on the leaderboard. We're see who else is out there.
Travis Bennett just jumped up into the 3rd position there in the 01.
Looking for other drivers who are getting out. A lot of them have already qualified. Qualifying is over relatively quickly. That's a wonderful thing. We've got 22 entries tonight, so a good field of drivers.
Not too bad. Looks like everybody's kind of minding their P's and Q's right now. So have some drivers coming down pit road testing that, and we have Corey Bunch there in the 93. They're jumping up to 7th, looking to see if he can possibly get in the top 5 in that Goodyear Mustang. See what he's able to do on a 2nd lap.
Yeah, this is one of those tracks where you've really got to be smooth. There you go. There's a big jump up to 3rd out for Corey Bunch with that qualifying time of a 22.81. This is now Alex Murphy jumping up there.
Murphy right now in P8. We'll see what he's able to do on this 2nd run here. See if he's able to jump into maybe the top 5. See what he's able to do going into the 3 right now. And, this is going to be a big indicator of how well his lap's going to be. Is how well he can get off the corner if you keep that car going in the right direction. Looks like he can. Can he jump up in some positions? Not able to do it. Stuck with a 23.01 right now. So we'll see if anybody else decides to get on board. You have Michael Whitley on the track right now in the 94.
Michael's last lap was a 23.25. Of course, that first lap is really just a warm-up, so.
Sure. We'll see what he's able to do around this 2nd time. See if he gets some traction coming out of 4. 23.05. So that puts him up to 11th here. 0.2 off the P1, which is Jordan Winsel. There's Alex Murphy. It looks like Alex is just making some laps around here, which is not a bad idea to do. Just get used to this, treat it as almost like a warm-up because you have time. We have 5 seconds left in this qualifying session, but still gives you a little bit of experience around the track.
Well, and they've got some time after this, so the way this league runs is there is a warm-up session after qualifying, so we can let them come out for their warm-up, and we'll cover a few housekeeping items once they come back out for warm-up. So let's talk about the race itself. So what we do have here, John, is that looking at race, it's warm in Richmond here. It shows track temp is 126 degrees.
That is going to be hot. It's going to be slick. here tonight for 200 laps with the iNASCAR Racing Series and the Federated Auto Parts 200. We do have a stage break on lap 66, and the choose rule will be in effect for the leader. So that's a big time advantage play there for the leader. One quick repair, 50% fuel, and 6 sets of tires, which means 5 in the pits, 1 on the car. Rick, yeah, let's talk about that track temp really quick. Going back to that, it is going to be very difficult on the worn tires, on the used tires, when it comes to this hot surface. Worn tires plus slick track and hot temperatures doesn't really make a good mixture for a lot of control under throttle.
Absolutely not. It's going to be a challenge for, and this is going to really take that accuracy on throttle control. And I think we've got some John's keys to our race. Let's just take a look and see what we've got. We'll look at John's keys. So John's keys to the race: number 1, throttle control.
Yep.
Number 2 is preserve your tires. And 3rd, as always, pit strategy.
Yep, those 3, especially at a short track, are very essential. Thank you, Rick, for bringing those up. The tire strategy, or the tire wear, is going to be a big effect into the night, with also pit strategy. Also, teams, you have to worry about your teams and where they're going to be on the track, because you may see some teamwork into play here. So let's see what we got going on now. 3 minutes left in this quote-unquote warm-up. They're getting a driver's meeting underway. Looks like track time is about 2:03 in the afternoon, so right in the middle of this heat. So we'll see how that affects the racers and the racetrack as we go through the night.
Absolutely. So Richmond is an interesting track. It really it looks like if you look at it, it's kind of a shrunk down mile and a half. Is that like a half size mile and a half? Is that the way to describe
Pretty much.
it? Because you've got
That's a good way, yeah.
You got the kind of a D-shaped track. Get that long front stretch where you can really develop some speed out of 4, but then you've got to really crank it on down and know where your marks are to be able to get into 1, and then more importantly, get off of 2 without hitting that wall on the backstretch.
It reminds me a lot of Nashville Super Speedway with the style of tracking. To think about the sweeping front stretch and how pit road is here, and you have to be very careful out of 4, which is very reminiscent of what you see at Nashville Super Speedway. So I view Richmond as kind of the same kind of track. You have to be very careful under throttle and make sure that you are not giving it too much gas, because you'll slide right into the wall or kind of get loose coming out of turn 4. So looks like we have about a minute and a half left, Rick, up in the top left-hand corner for this drivers meeting. And you want to let's bring up possibly the point standings.
Sure, absolutely. So let's talk about the point standings right now. So there are 5 races left, including this one, before they move on to the playoffs. And based on what I'm seeing, 8 drivers have already locked themselves in, which means there are 8 positions open.
There are, and look at the top 3. Jeffrey Brogdon has 6 wins, Travis Bennett has 5, and Jordan Winsel, your pole sitter for tonight's race, has 3 wins. They're both starting P1 and P2 tonight, Winsel and Brogdon, and then you have Murphy Bunch and a bunch of other drivers who have wins. But yeah, you have Eric Jeffers in P9, Richard Mills in P10, and the fight on back is very, very close between Brodbeck and Schultz there for 17th and 18th. So it is going to be a fight to the end. And Matt Allen, he's right up in there as well in that cutoff position. So very important for those drivers, with just 9 points separating Allen and Brodbeck, that they have some solid runs tonight. Brodbeck starting in P8, I believe, or P7. So he's going to be a driver to watch, especially here tonight.
Yeah, if you're sitting right on that bubble, if you're not up there to win, you really are hoping that one of those other guys that have already won will win again, so that cutoff doesn't really impact you as much.
Yeah, if I had to put any kind of money on some of these drivers, I'm looking at the top 2 right now, who combined have 11 wins on the season. My bad, 9 wins. Trying to do some math. 9 wins on the season. Wenzel and Brogdon, very impressive runs, as you can see, and it looks like, Rick, I believe we are about to get the cars on the grid for tonight's Federated Auto Parts 200 in
So
the iNASCAR Racing Series.
speaking of that, let's talk about the grid.
Let's do it. On pole for tonight's Federated Auto Parts 200, you have Jordan Winsel in the 81 in the Full Throttle Motorsports. In second, you have Jeff Brogdon there. In third, Corey Bunch in the 93 and Travis Bennett to his outside in the 01, still a Full Throttle Motorsports machine. It looks like Full Throttle Motorsports is taking up the top six with Tony Japs there in P5 and Eric Jeffers in P6. In P7, you have Vernon Broadbeck, and P8, you have Alex Murphy. Starting in ninth, you have Simon Madgen, and then in P10, you have Martin Giroux. I believe that's how we pronounce that.
You got it. In 11th, Michael Whitley. And in 12th, Richard Mills. In 13th, Jeremy Briggs. And 14th is Scott Thomas. 15th, Jared Audette. And 16th is Jason Hale. In 17th, Dan Hughes. And 18th, Matt Allen. Josh Douglas is in 19th. And 20 is Martin Pinnell. In 21st, Mitchell Roberts. 22nd, Vince Burns. And at the tail end of the field, Richard Smith. All right, that is our grid for tonight. Pace car is taking the competitors out and around. We are about to get this underway. Again, thank you.
I'm excited.
Yeah, thank you for tuning in to the IWM broadcast of the iNASCAR Racing Series League here at Richmond. We appreciate you tuning in and joining us tonight. This race and other race is also sponsored by Ace HTI. Ace HTI is a North Carolina-based technology company dedicated to providing businesses and households with custom security, fire alarm, camera systems, data Wi-Fi, and AV solutions. They've been serving the Triad since 1983. Ace HTI was formed by the merging of Advanced Consumer Electronics of Winston-Salem and Heritage Technologies of Greensboro. If you're looking for a technology company and you're in that area, check out on the web, ace-hti.com.
All right, Rick, looks like we're about to get this race underway. Pace car's about to drop down on to pit road as they come out of 4 here just in a second. Cheeto's machine on the outside. See what he's able to do. Green flag in the air in the Federated Auto Parts 200, the iNASCAR Racing Series, rather. This is obviously iRacing. And here we go. Field dives down into turn 1. Always a tricky corner here at Richmond.
Field is tight together as they're working through, and certainly, getting that and backing up your corners and getting through here is certainly going to be a challenge. We're watching these guys as they're getting off of 2. Oh, in the wall.
Tim's in the wall. Yep.
I think that was the 10 car of Vernon Broadbeck that tagged the wall. No caution come out, but certainly that's going to leave a mark. You can see the damage already to that right side of that number 10 car. He's got some sheet metal flapping in the breeze. Oh, and the 9. We do have a caution is out. The 9 is collected with Scott Thomas and Jason Hale. I think they were involved there.
Yep, let's go back and take a look at that one on the replay. At first, I'd say, oh, that's Chase Elliott out there, because that's a mimic of Chase Elliott's car. Well, let's see what happened between the 9 and the 79 there. Wide out of 2.
Yep.
Possibly a little bit of net code between
those
2 drivers right there. Yep. It was a little tight racing, though, out of 2. And it's hard to go 3 wide out of all the places. A short track like Richmond, it is hard to make these cars stable under 3 wide conditions. So that brings out our first caution of the night, Rick, on technically lap 3, but it'll be lap 4. And we see some drivers making their way down pit road.
Yeah, so pit strategy here will also be part of the race and how they choose to approach this. We've seen over the years all different kinds of approach. Some guys will come down every single time. They'll take fuel so that they don't have to plan, and they'll just keep topping off the tank and take tires when need be. Others, a little bit different strategy.
It's all about that strategy here early on and what you really want to do when it comes to that strategy, because you can have a lot of different play calling here at Richmond, depending on where you see yourself at the end of the race. Winsel, Bunch, Brogdon, Bennett, and Jeffers up in the top 5. Obviously, right now, not the time to come down pit road, but some guys in the back. You don't have many laps on these tires. Get a little bit more fuel. Get ahead of these guys, because maybe in the end, that may be the winning strategy, is being a little bit off sequence and getting your spot back in. Got a couple cars that were involved in that. Don't know if anybody used a quick repair, but they do have one quick repair at their disposal. All drivers do here tonight, and 5 sets of tires. So some drivers probably coming down and getting that done.
Yep, so we saw that you saw the 10 of Vernon Broderick came in. He may have used his quick repair. He was involved in that single car incident just prior to the caution that came out that involved Richard Smith and Scott Thomas. All right. Just kind of making our way through. And again, we appreciate y'all tuning in to the IWM broadcast of the iNASCAR Racing Series. This is our first race with this league, but we've also got a number upcoming through their playoffs. We're looking forward to getting involved with this group for this season and hopefully for future seasons.
Absolutely. It looks like a great so far series to broadcast. And, with the top 2 drivers in the points having 11 wins combined, I like seeing that, because that shows you some domination and some determination from the point leader. So, Rick, looks like pace car is about to drop off. You have Winsel there taking the bottom line on the restart, the end of the Geico restart zone, and we are back to green flag racing here in the iRacing. I did it again, the iNASCAR Racing Series.
Good,
Let's
clean
see what they
start.
do when they go to 1.
Looking back through the field. With this track, it'll take some time for these guys to build some heat up in these tires, and also to figure out what's the best line for them.
Sure, it's definitely a matter of, especially as these tires wear, your braking markers going into 1 and going into 3, and you may see some drivers get into it simply due to difference in braking points. So right there, the 5 sideways, that's 127 is sideways, and the 50 is sideways, and we're wrecking in the back, big wreck out of 4. You have 10 to 55 involved, the 6 involved, big wreck out of 4. It's Burns.
Yep, Jeremy
Rowe.
Briggs, Matt Allen, Dan Hughes, Mitchell Roberts, Vince Burns, as you indicated. Number of guys caught up in that. Let's go back and see if we can get an idea as to what went down.
Yep, the IWM time machine here. See what happened. Wow, that's actually on point, Rick, with what I was just saying there. You have different braking points and different braking lines, and you can see right there you have the 5 sideways. That may be a little bit of some loose condition. Oh, no, he actually got into it with the 50.
So you see the cars kind of diving down, he just kind of held his line a little wide, and unfortunately, that was as they began to avoid the contact, they'll back this up a little bit. You can see other drivers trying to avoid getting caught up in it. Unfortunately, these cars, as you correct to the left, unfortunately, you sometimes wind up snapping right.
It happens, and especially when everybody's bunched up on a restart like this, you can get cars in a little bit of a parking lot, and that's Richmond for you. So thank you to the IWM time machine on that for bringing us back. But Rick, 11 laps complete here tonight. Winsel out front.
All right, number of those drivers that were involved did take an opportunity to go down pit road and get whatever repairs they needed. In that case, when you're pretty much flat spotting your tires, you'll see those drivers come back down, get a change of tires, and get back out. We did see Vernon Broadbeck and Vince Burns come down relatively quickly. They may have just come down and either just topped off on fuel or for that matter, just did a quick repair to repair any damage that was done to their tires. Extended times of full pit stops was Dan Hughes, Richard Smith, and Matt Allen. Scott Thomas as well.
That happens at the beginning of the race, and with the playoffs in about 5 weeks, that the tempers and the emotions are going to be a little bit higher, especially at a short track, and everybody knows what happens at short tracks. So having that with the playoffs looming, with all the points and everything on the line, it's just a product of this kind of racing and a product of people wanting to get up to the front. So right now, your top 5 as it stands, not much has changed, but Winsel in first, Bunch in second, Brogdon in third, Jeffers in fourth, and Bennett rounding out your top 5.
Yeah, really, those guys that are who are outside the playoff bubble, that's outside the top 20 spots, really their only hope is to win to get in and make it to the playoffs. So they've got to take a more aggressive stance to get back into the series.
Sure. You have to do what you have to do to bring home a win, and every win matters. So we'll see what happens tonight. You saw Winsel leading the field down, chooses the bottom lane this time for the restart. Pace car is off. They have entered the Geico restart zone. We're back to green flag racing. Good start by the 81 as the field hits the line. Feel a little bit more spread out this time, Rick.
Imagine that. Looking back through the field a bit. We're keeping an eye on the back of the pack. There's a lot of jockeying for a position early on, and again, this is a complicated track. It doesn't immediately appear, but it's a short track, and that means you've got to find a line. But very often the line you've got is the same line that competitor right next to you is looking for as well. And when it comes to braking zones, it's really hard.
It is. It's one of the toughest things, and I've definitely been the driver who's punted somebody, and I've been the one who's been punted before at Richmond. And it's not because of one driver's skill; it's just the difference in how you approach these corners and where you think your car is going to be there. Right now, it looks like we did have a fastest lap by Corey Bunch there in P2, running at 22.974, his fastest lap of the race so far in that Goodyear Mustang. We'll see what he's able to do right now on the back doorstep of Winsel.
And this really is a tale of 2 races here, John. If you look at the guys who are currently right now, you can see the top 6 competitors. They really are running nose to tail. But as you go back through the field, we'll drop back to what's happening here. You're seeing 2 wide and sometimes 3 wide racing towards the back of the field.
Yeah, that's Mitchell Roberts there, Richard Smith, Jeremy Briggs, Vernon Broadbeck, all in the mix there, 17th, 16th, 18th, 19th. Yeah, it is a tale of 2 races, and it's going to happen. And with some green flag runs here, you may see this pit strategy play dividends for people who may have come down pit road under these cautions. Right now, we may have a pass for the lead, though. Here comes Corey Bunch to the inside of the 81 of Winsel. We'll see if he's able to get the run out of 2. Not sure if he's able to do it because the high line does work. Able to keep side by side as it battles down the back.
Good racing here. Of course, this plays right into the hand of Jeff Brogdon, who's right there behind. He's looking for someone to make a mistake and him take advantage of it. We do have the 4th car. That is Jeffers 12 that may have an issue with his connection. A little bit of blinking happening back there.
Possibly, but we do have a pass for the lead. Bunch got around Winsel there for P1, and don't look back. Like you mentioned, Brogdon's right there. He has 6 wins on the season, and another win would just help out his playoff hopes. Well, he's already locked in, obviously, but it'll further his peace of mind with having another win, knowing that maybe another competitive driver didn't get theirs. So we'll see what he's able to do in that. Love the Cheetos machine. I don't know why they're not a current sponsor in the Cup Series, but I love it.
All right, we do have a stage break at lap 66, so they are 1/3 of the way to that stage break. If you're one of those top 10 drivers, you've got stage points, you've got points for leading laps. All that plays into your playoff points.
they do, and every single point matters. It doesn't matter where you are in the field. We've seen that in multiple leagues, in our own league, and now in the iNASCAR Racing Series. Every single point matters. So getting that lap led for Bunch is big. Wenzel leading a lap, big. Even for Brogdon, even with 6 wins, every point matters.
All right, Corey Bunch continues now to lead this race. He's got Jordan Wenzel right behind, Jeff Brogdon in third, Eric Jeffers in fourth, Travis Bennett is in fifth, Alec Murphy in sixth, Simon Magny in seventh, Michael Whitney sits in eighth, Jared Audette in ninth, and Josh Douglas is in 10th.
Let's talk about some of the biggest movers here tonight. You have Josh Douglas up 9 positions, the P10, and Jared Audette up 6 positions to P9. So want to pay attention to Douglas there, running a pretty good line. He's making some ground on the leader, so we'll see what he's able to do as the night progresses.
Pretty chromed out paint scheme on that number 8 by Josh Douglas.
Hey, love the chrome. Love the chrome there. I think the 50 also has a little bit of chrome on his car, so always love seeing that.
That 50 driven by Martin Giroux. He's got the chrome numbers. All right, again, Corey Bunch is currently our leader. 28 laps are in the books. And Jordan Wenzel, now this is about patience here. This is a long race. There's 200 laps. Granted, it's a short track, so laps go by pretty quickly, sometimes around 24 seconds per lap, but still, this is a long race, and you've got to bide your time.
You do, and it's all a matter of the patience at this point and how you want to play your race. Right now, you have Josh Douglas making up another spot of 10 positions for the drivers, obviously to pay attention to, especially when it comes to the point standings. He is one of those drivers on a little bit of the bubble there. He's 45 to be good, but still, every position matters, every point matters. So getting those points early on and moving the way through the field to maybe get a win is also on the market. Now let's talk about some of the biggest losers of the race so far. We have Tony Japs -7, Jeremy Briggs -6. Those are the two, and Vernon Broadbeck down 9 spots tonight as well, with Dan Hughes -6. So a lot of drivers moving up and down the board.
It's one of those tracks where there's a lot of finesse. There's a lot of finesse to actually how you get through these corners and you work it, because it's so easy coming out of 2 to slip up and tag that wall.
Yep, out of 2 and out of 4, you may get a little bit too confident coming out of 4. And just like I was mentioning in the pre-race at Nashville, it's a very close corner exit, and you may drift up and start to slide the tires. Next thing you know, you have a broken toe link and you're out of the race, where obviously here you would need a fast repair, but do that too many times and you may see yourself not being able to finish.
Well, side-by-side racing, that 50 of Martin Giroux slips under the 76 of Jared Audette.
That is for 10th place right there. Jared up 4 positions.
Martin is where he started, so he's hanging right there in 10th, holding on to that spot.
Hey, nothing wrong with being consistent, especially early in a race. Sometimes you just need to make it through to the end of the stage before you start racing, and that's a common theme we see, obviously, in the Cup Series and other series, especially the trucks. You have to be consistent and at least get to the point where you can race for a win. If you can't get to that point, which would be a stage in, you just basically take your chances and diminish them quite greatly there. So we'll see how this race unfolds. But out front, Bunch it has about a 0.6 of a second lead over Brogdon, followed by Winsel, Jeffers, and Bennett.
So looking up on the track map, you can see that 93 highlighted in lime green. That is your leader. And you can see this field is beginning to spread out pretty good. And I'll have to say, from personal experience, that's Richmond does that. Some guys get it and are able to get around here, and it matches their driving style. With others, not so much. It's hard.
It is hard because you have to think about, where your braking points are and how hard you're using your right side, your right front tire. If you use that up quite a bit and lean on it too much coming out of the corner, you are in a rude awakening and you're in for a long race. I see some drivers actually kind of struggling with that right now, a little bit further on in the back of the pack. That right front is starting to diminish.
Well, if you look at the lap times of Richard Smith, Dan Hughes, so let's bring up their last times. Their last lap times were 24:51, 24:58, but your leader's lap times 23:67. So there's better than 1 second between them, and those leaders are about to start coming up on the tail end of the lead pack, which you're going to get racy. I don't want to give up my last spot. I don't want to go a lap down.
Not at all. That's Dan Hughes and Mitchell Roberts there. Looks like Dan Hughes will be the first car a lap down, as you see him about to enter the picture there in the number 6 machine. Looks like he's a little bit down on power. Keeps it to the bottom side of the track to avoid everybody, so good move there. But yeah, I mean, right now you are in a race for your life to get to the end of this stage and possibly keep your lap. We're 26 laps away from it, so by this pace, they're probably going to get to, I would guess, they may not get to 20th place, but I imagine they'll surpass Mitchell Roberts and Robert Smith in 21st and 22nd.
Yeah, they're right close. Their last those groups, their last times were mid 24.5, 25.6, 24.6. So yeah, they're going to get run down pretty quick, and we'll see. See the leaders coming up on this traffic that potentially could be lap down traffic. There are about 24 laps before the stage break. I don't blame them for trying to hold their line.
You got to do everything you possibly can to keep yourself on a lead lap. And
contact!
Oh no,
we're wrecking.
Oh no, Rick, that is not good.
That was the leader,
second place driver. That was Jeff Brogdon.
Yep, Jeff Brogdon.
Unfortunately, getting collected by that lap down car. I believe that was Richard Smith.
Let's go back and take a look at that.
So 83 there in the second lane. Brogdon down low, minding his own business.
He does come up though, and
Ooh.
Yeah, let's back it up just a little bit.
Yep.
Maybe he thought he was clear at that point.
Possibly. I think that could be what happened, Rick. I agree with that statement.
Sorry, let's go back to. Bear with us as the guys in the truck get this replay ready for you.
Always love those guys in the truck. They do a really good job every week.
So we're looking right now, we're behind the 83 of Richard Smith, and he's just on that seam. I don't think the 14 knew he was there or that he was clear.
I agree, and I would even say that I think the 83 was coming up the seam just a little bit. So unfortunate they're going to get a quicker pair done, obviously. But right now, it looks like the battle of the pit road is the 81 is able to beat everybody else.
Big battle.
Out of pit road.
Big battle coming off pit road. So pretty much the entire field made it down to pit road here on lap 44. And they are all out. And the winner of the battle off pit road was Jordan Wenzel, followed by Travis Bennett.
Talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see how that plays out when this gets organized. Okay, lap 46. We are under caution here at Richmond.
It's been an exciting race so far. That was one of our first green flag runs, and we saw how quickly these drivers can catch up to the back of the field and make their mark right now. I don't think any drivers after this caution are going to be under threat of getting a lap down, simply because we'll have about 19, 18 laps to go in the stage. So
I
should
see
be clear.
definitely the winners are out there who'd had fast pit times. Travis Bennett, Eric Jeffers, Corey Bunch though got a little bit. I'm not sure what happened to him in the pits, but his pit time was about 3 seconds longer than everybody else's. Not everybody's, but certainly he made some changes. You also saw a couple of folks maybe only take two tires. That's Vernon Broadbeck may have only taken right side.
Not a terrible strategy, but when it comes to the overall effect of the car, we've seen this in the Cup Series. The left sides don't really matter as much as the right, obviously. So we could see that work out. Now, obviously, they're going to have to come down pit road later in the race and get those left sides, but that may be a good strategy to get them a little bit of track position before the end of the stage.
Well, especially with only, this is only lap 48. It's a short track. Tires do tend to last longer on the left side than you would expect. So, well, lights are off on our pace car. Jordan Wenzel is your leader. He has opted for the inside line. Travis Bennett in second is to the outside. You now have Eric Jeffers, Corey Bunch, Alex Murphy. Simon Magdjen is there.
Geico restart zone is entered and we're off. Green flag racing back again. 81 Wenzel out to the lead with Travis Bennett, Jeffers, Bunch, and Murphy battling down into turn one. We got side-by-side racing through the back of the field.
Too wide racing. Oh, a little bit tagged the wall. I think that is Magdjen who tagged the wall. Pretty clean and solid and square. May not have too much damage, but certainly not the best.
Not at all. You definitely do not want to hit the wall here. It'll either another car slides into the wall. But yeah, this is one place where you need your car to be, at least if you're damaged on your bumper. I mean, you're fine, but want to make sure you have no toe link issues and nothing going on there. We possibly have a pass for the lead. Rick, the 01 is down low on the 81 going out of turn two. We'll see if Travis Bennett can take the lead with 15 to go in the stage.
Good. At the same time, we're keeping our eye on Jeff Brogdon as he's trying to work his way back up. He's currently back in 18 with 14 laps to go, trying to get back up to the front. So your new leader, Travis Bennett, is out in front. You've got Jordan Wenzel is in second. Oh, whoa, we're watching.
That was the 01. That was the leader of Travis Bennett getting loose out of turn four. He's able to save it, but he is going to drop all the way back to the tail end of the field.
Yeah, did a little, probably did a little bit of damage to that car as he went through the grass, but new leader, that puts Jordan Wenzel back up on top. Corey Bunch to second. Eric Jeffers to third, Alex Murphy to fourth, Simon Magdjen is up to fifth. Josh Douglas is now showing in sixth. Big mover for Josh, he started in 19th. Vernon Broadbeck is in, Jared Audette in seventh, Vernon Broderick in eighth. Those two guys are swapping position back and forth as they battle. Martin Giroux is in ninth, and Michael Whitney Jr. is in 10th. drop back in the field. You can see that Jeff Brogdon has kind of made his way back up. He's now sitting in 13th position under the 5. He's got that 42 of Tony Japs in front of him. Trying to work his way around and drive back to the front again. 10 laps before the stage break.
You know, you've got to make up as many positions as you can, and he's trying to do that right now in the back of the pack, trying to make his way up. We'll see what he's able to do right now here, going on the inside. Able to make the pass on the 42. Moves him up into P12.
The farther up you move, the more talented you typically find some of these drivers, and those passes won't come quite as easy, but there's a lot of 2 and 3 wide racing going on at points on this track today.
And that's what makes Richmond fun, is the fact that you can go 2 wide, sometimes 3 wide here, depending on the corner, depending on specifically where you see yourself making a potential move. Right now, it looks like the 12 slightly gaining on the 81 there. So that's Jeffers gaining on Wenzel.
Corey Bunch is your leader. Jordan Wenzel is in second. We're kind of looking to see just what's happening. So that delta is they're spreading out. So we've got definitely some gaps in between your top 10. Kind of rolling back through the field here, looking for individual battles that may be going back on.
Looks like everybody's kind of just minding their own business right now. We have a big group between 6th and 11th. We could go to that battle. A lot of drivers nose to tail there. You have the 8, you have the 76, all battling.
Yeah, they're really all competing, trying to crack the top 5. That 17 is sitting in top 5. That is Simon Magin right there. He's got the 8 of Josh Douglas behind him. Jared Audette is right nose to tail. Saw a little bit of movement, I think, out of the 10 car.
Just slight movement, but able to keep it going.
Of course, that's all it takes here, right? I mean, just a little bit of slip, and you're going to put yourself in potentially a dangerous position, especially coming out of turn 2 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, and that's where you have to really match your throttle control with your driving and your steering input. Almost like if you were to drive possibly a GT3 car, you have to match that coming out of the corner. And if you don't match it up just right, you can get away with it sometimes, but sometimes you can't. You just go right around.
Looks like the 8 of Josh Douglas has now taken over 5th place.
You know, Josh is up 14 positions right now. I told you I was watching him making his way through the field, and right now, when we are 2 laps away from that scheduled stage 1 break, awesome to see him up in the top 5.
All right, let's jump up to take a look at Corey Bunch. We're going to follow our leaders as we wind down the last couple laps here before our stage break. Corey Bunch continues to show us the way. Jordan Wenzel is right there in second. Pretty big gap between Wenzel, Jeffers, Murphy, Douglas. These leaders just kind of pacing themselves. Here we are, lap 65, and we should see a caution at lap 66.
Possibly. I am not sure if it's going to be when they cross the line or if it's going to be at the end of 66. We're about to find out.
Yeah, every league is different as to when they throw that caution, and if they have a caution. Sometimes there's no caution at the end of a stage, and it just happens to be just a points tally at the end of that lap.
I do like that a lot, so we'll see what happens at the end of the lap. If not, Bunch is definitely going to be winning stage 1, and yet the caution is out. So, end of stage 1, Mr. Corey Bunch is your winner of stage 1 with Jordan Wenzel in second, Eric Jefferson third, Alex Murphy in fourth, and Josh Douglas up 14 spots up to P5.
Simon Magden is in 6th, Jared Audette is in 7th, Vernon Broadbeck is in 8th, Martin Giroux is in 9th and 10th, and I think final stage point is Michael Whitley. Interesting to note, Jeff Brogdon has made it back up to 11th.
He has 6 wins on the season, Rick. I knew when he got in that incident he was going to be able to make his way up to the front. So, I expect to see him battling for the lead before we know it.
So all the drivers are going to make their way down onto pit road. They may not all take tires since they did come in earlier, but certainly they'll be topping off with Sunoco fuel to get right back out of there.
Yeah, I think we may see some 4-tire changes here. The reason why is because of the end of the stage, and there's no other stage 2. It's just the end of the race, if you, I guess, consider that stage 2. So I would expect to see 4 tires here. Want to get as much life out of the tires as you can. They have enough of them. And a full tank of fuel. Let's see who's going to be the winner out of pit road. Looks like some drivers are taking some right sides. I'm watching the 81 in particular right now. He takes right sides. He does take left sides. And he is going to be the winner out of pit road with the 17 of Simon Madgen up to second, Corey Bunch in third, Eric Jeffers in fourth, and Alex Murphy in fifth.
All right, good race off of pit road. George Wenzel is back up front. And we'll see where he chooses to line back up. As we said earlier, the leader at the end for the restart gets an opportunity to pick their starting lane, whether they want to be in the inner or outer. We've seen the leader take the inside lane twice. I guess it really depends on who you got behind you, right?
That, and also who you've been watching all race and how they're able to perform on restarts. If you see a driver struggling on the bottom lane on restarts, why not go to the high side and have them have to battle you going into turn 1? You're going to be the control car. You should be able to get out in front. But make that car and make that driver a little bit uncomfortable and gap yourself a little bit from first to second.
One thing we're not as familiar quite yet with this league, and you may have some guys who are there and they've got their teammates and they're looking for some help with the teammate, whether it's in line or on the side, and take advantage of that strategy as well.
Teammates at super speedways are important. I think they're even just as important at short tracks, because we've seen in the past with a lot of different leagues or in the actual Cup Series, some drivers pulling maybe a block or two for a driver that has in the same team as them to get another driver to a position where they don't want to be. So teamwork is a big factor here, as we should be getting 1 to go this time by. Wenzel takes the inside line. And we are about to start, or have the end of stage 1 and the start of stage 2, technically, which is the end of the race. About 128 laps to go.
All right, this represents our first. It was a planned caution, but it would a caution nonetheless. That's for the race. After those earlier incidents, these drivers seem to have settled down a bit.
They have, and it was a pure accident. The caution before this one involving Brogdon Air. Pace car is out of pit. We're going down the pit road. Green flag back in the air, and just like I said, the 81 got a big jump on the rest of the field.
A lot of jockeying for position out of this one. We're definitely seeing some, and that familiar number 14 has found its way back up to top 5, top 6. So that's right back up there. You got Jordan Wenzel there, Corey Bunch is side by side. The 17 and the 93 right there. Moves clearly, the 93 moves into P2. Now the 12 is battling the 17. That's Eric Jeffers in the 12.
Yep, and right on the back doorstep of the 81 is the 93 of Corey Bunch. Corey Bunch has led here. He was one of the best cars sideways in the middle of 1 and 2. And we're wrecking, going to be a caution. Not sure who that is in the back, but
That's
we got
the
it.
number 5. That's the 5 of Richard Mills. He may have been the only car in that event. I'm not sure.
He was. He was. I watched it on my second screen here.
I don't know. He may have had a little help. Let's just back it up a little bit.
Ooh.
Let's let this go through at normal speed. That's a little bit of contact.
A little bit. And he overcorrects right here, goes on the outside wall. Not too hard of a contact there on the left front, but should be okay. But, you know, Rick, this goes back to what I was talking about at the beginning of the race. Referring to braking points, we saw the 5 there let off way before the 01 did. I don't think the 01 was expected.
Yeah, I'm not sure that our tower, I guess that's Travis Bennett in the 01, but that was minor. We can try to go back. Not sure we can see it from Travis's position since we have a little bit of time here. Let's take a pause. Let's drop to the 01. Let's see if we can get a cockpit view. This is from the 01. Back it up just a little bit. All right, so the 5 was on his outside.
Yep, just a little bit of contact. Just a little bit.
That's braking zone. That's the pure difference between my braking zone and your braking zone.
Yep, spot on. And that's one of the biggest, I don't want to call it an issue, but some of the biggest roadblocks, I guess, that you have to break through is different braking lines and different just braking control and throttle control. And we saw that right there. Perfect example of that. Brings out our 5th caution, I guess technically 4th caution for incident of the night.
All right, we thank you again for tuning in to the IWM broadcast of the iNASCAR Federated Auto Parts 200, brought to you by Ace HTI. This is the iNASCAR Racing Series. This is their 2nd season and our first for broadcasting their league, but you'll be able to watch a number of races throughout this season on the IWM Broadcast Network. We appreciate the confidence in the iNASCAR Racing Series League to bring IWM into it, and so that we can bring their racing to you. And if you like what you're seeing, we ask that you tune in, that you subscribe, whatever platform you're following on. You can find us on a bunch. YouTube is our biggest platform, but you can also find us on Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. But we'd ask you to like, follow along, subscribe, so that you can get notified of future events, not only with the iNASCAR League, but also with the Tech for Troops series that's on our Wednesday night series. And stay engaged. We appreciate you. All right, lights are off on the pace car. We're about to get this back underway.
We'll see what Wenzel is able to do.
He's surrounded by a little bit different group. He's got Corey Bunch is there, Eric Jeffers, Simon Madgen, Alex Murphy, Jeff Brogdon has made his way back up now in 6th, Josh Douglas in 7th, Michael Whitney in 8th.
And green flag.
All right, we are back at it. Another good restart for Jordan Wenzel.
100%. Always going to be a good restart. We had 3 wide in the back of the pack, able to get that settled out, though. Look who's made his way up to P5, though, Rick.
Yep. That Mr. Jeff Brogdon has found way back up. We're kind of scrolling back through the field as we watch these guys in the back of the pack kind of work their way through. Oh, a little bit contact. 66 and the 5.
Able to keep it technically going the right direction, but that brings out our 6th caution of the night.
Yep, you saw that live.
You got another one, Rick. Got another one.
We did. We had gone fishing. We found one.
We did.
All right, let's, while we have a moment or two, let's just jump back into, just grab that.
Ooh, little loose out of 2, or my bad, 4.
Yeah, I don't think that's, it's just, it's one of those places we talked about. You're to come out of 2 or 4 and, you're on the throttle maybe a little bit too quick. And this is a hot track, which makes it super slick. This is Mitchell Roberts. And unfortunately, has contact with Mills in the 5. And they tear up the front stretch grass.
Yeah, they did a little bit more than what the lawn maintenance crew asked them to do here. Actually, that's not too bad. Mowing a little bit right there.
Not too bad, but of course, the right side damage as the 66 tags that pit road safety wall. All right, as you can see, those drivers are on pit road. That's the 94 of Whitley, the 79 of Scott Thomas, and the 66 of Mitchell Roberts is on.
Some pit stops going on for these guys, not unexpected.
Nope, especially if you've gone through the grass like that, you want to get into the pits and probably get a tire change. There may be some damage to your car, so you may sit there for a little bit, allow your team to make some changes. All right, lap 85. We are almost to the halfway point here in Richmond.
Almost to the halfway point, and Jeff Brogdon has made his way up to P4. So he'll be in the second row on this restart. And Rick, it's like I said, matter of time before we see him back up at the front.
Well, again, you've seen him bringing back up quickly the current point standings. Jeff Brogdon is sitting right on top. You've got Travis Bennett, who is currently right now in the middle of the field at around 11th. Jordan Wenzel is sitting in 3rd for points, and he is on top right now in control. Alex Murphy is sitting in 4th in points. He is currently sitting in 6th. Corey Bunch is in 5th in points, and he is sitting in 2nd. So those are all prior multiple race winners. So, yeah, so you would expect to see that. The real thing here that I'm looking for is what can those drivers who don't have a win? Can you get back up? Can you get yourself relevant? Can you challenge these guys and, make yourself known? Now, we're not even at the halfway point here. This is a long race, and with a race like this, patience, but at some point, you've got to make your way to the front. You can't expect to win this race sitting back in 15th and try to make it there with 10 laps to go.
Sure, you're totally right there, Rick. And some of the drivers that we need to pay attention to when it comes to that. Look at Eric Jeffers there in P5. He is currently the leading point driver who doesn't have a win. And now you have Richard Mills there. Richard Mills is down there in P18. And looking at specifically Josh Douglas, he's in 7th, doesn't have a win. So we'll see what they're able to do, see what these drivers can do. Pace cars down, and we're back to green flag racing. 112 laps to go here tonight in the iNASCAR Federated Auto Parts 200. The field is 2x2 as they come out of 2.
Staying tightly grouped together here as we make our way into 4. A little bit of pressure being applied by Corey Bunch. He is right there, and Jeff Brogdon has now made it up to 3rd.
Like I think we should do it if we could. Rick, I think we need to have a button that cues the Jaws theme, because that's where I see Mr. Brogdon right now. He's just that shark waiting to come back up to the front. See him running a little bit of a different line compared to the leaders and able to get a great run out of the middle and off the corner. Brogdon now up to third.
Took a quick peek at the back of the pack. You know, we're looking at this battle up front. It's tight, but there's a lot of battles happening further on back in the pack.
Yeah, the battle for fourth is heating up, and we have a little bit of contact made, I believe. A little bit of cars sliding up the track. Everybody kept going the right way. Good battling there for fourth. Ooh, 17. To save it.
He did save it. He'll lose a lot of positions, but he definitely did save it.
We did have a...
Yellow flag did come out, though.
That was not an iRacing thrown caution, and that's all I know.
All right. Yeah, it could have been that he crossed over into the pit lane. That may have, not really sure why, but caution did come out.
Looks like an admin thrown caution from what I'm hearing.
All right, let's go back and look at the 17. Currently sitting in that is 5th place. There's contact with the 12. Good job of not overcorrecting.
Absolutely, does a fantastic job. But then the caution was thrown.
All right. So here we are, lap 93 of 200. Our 7th caution of the night. Jordan Wenzel is currently leading. You do have Simon Magden coming off the pit road. I'm sure he went in for a change of tires after flat spotting in saving that car. Mitchell Robertson, the 66, is getting some extensive repairs done, and he is still on pit road. We have one retiree, that's Dan Hughes in the 6. Dan retired officially on lap 39. So here we are. Jordan Wenzel is your leader. Corey Bunch in 2nd, and Jeff Brogdon has made his way back up to 3rd. Eric Jeffers sits in 4th. Alex Murphy in 5th. Josh Douglas in 6th. Vernon Broderick in 7th. Jared Audette in 8th. Martin Giroux in 9th. And Travis Bennett in 10th. Josh Douglas is your biggest mover of the night. He started 19th, and he is up to 6th.
We'll see what Josh Douglas is able to do. It's he's one of these big movers of our race. You know, you have Jared Audette with up 7 positions, Richard Smith and Matt Allen up 6, but nothing like Josh Douglas up 13.
All right, well, maybe this next time by we can get some good green flag racing in. You know, and we haven't seen a whole lot of, you know, we saw one multi-car incident, but for the most part, it's been simple spins, one car tapping another car, but, you know, they're keeping it together.
Yeah, it just seems like it's just the nuance of racing at a short track. It happens. It's what happens. So it'll be like that, and we'll see if that clears up. You know, as the day goes on, as the race goes on, you'll see how these drivers are able to handle it going a little bit further on. But right now, your top 5, you have Wenzel, Bunch, Brogdon, Jeffers, and Alex Murphy. Green flag. We're racing again here at Richmond. Wenzel at the point. But look who's in second, Rick. You have Jeff Brogdon, 6 wins on the season, looking to make it number 7. 7 wins. Well, and amazing. That's amazing. To have that dominance like that, it's just incredible to see.
Absolutely. So if you're a driver without a win, you're definitely looking to at least about halfway to start getting to plan your strategy, how you get up. Oh, caution's back out.
We're wrecking out of 2. Wrecking out of 2. It looks like a lot of cars involved in this one, Rick. A lot of cars.
Let's try to
You can
jump
go back
back
and take a look. Yeah. Oh, it's right there in front of him.
Yep. 50 goes around. Oh, unfortunately, no place to go for the 58. 55, the 9. 83 squeaks through. 17 again with the 50 and the 20s involved. So that's Jason Hale, Briggs, Martin Giroux in the 50. Martin Pinnell, Simon Magin is also involved. We saw Simon farther up front. Fortunately, he was involved in that in the 17.
That's going to change a lot of people's races. All those guys that are on pit road, it's going to be a battle now of attrition. I think it's where we've entered in. And look at that. Jeff Brogdon came down pit road, losing all the spots that he gained back up. Maybe he knows something that the other drivers don't know, Rick.
Well, he knows that he can go back and drive back to the front. So he definitely took this opportunity based on what our folks in the timing booth, he got a full set of tires and fuel. So he had a complete fuel stop. So, of course, he's coming back out. He's going to wind up maybe 13th, not too far back. Now this league does have, and I don't know the details, John, maybe you can look in the race info, but there are some, they have incident points, I think, at one level. Once they get past that, they get a black flag, which causes you to have to come back down to pit road, and then every 8 incident points after that will be consecutive black flags. So.
Yep, unfortunately, I am not able to see those incident points. Those are not showing up on my end. I'm trying to check my other telemetry that I have.
We don't have incident points. No.
Yep, do not see those at all. So, not really sure. I guess
we'll when we see a driver all of a sudden drop down onto pit road that may or may not logically be there, we'll just make that assumption. So, but here we are just past the halfway point. Jordan Wenzel is your leader. Corey Bunch to his outside. Eric Jeffers in 3rd. Alex Murphy in 4th. Josh Douglas in 5th. Jared Audette in 6th. 7th is Travis Bennett. Matt Allen in 8th. Big mover. Matt Allen, that's up 10 spots. And Tony Japs, 9th. Richard Mills in 10th. Just behind him, Richard Smith is sitting in 11th. Now, interesting strategy here. The top 11 guys did not pit. So everybody behind them pitted on lap 99, and with the exception nope, they all took tires.
They did, yep. That's what I'm looking to. Pace cars drop down again. Green flag back in the air, and Wenzel to the point again, checking out. as they dive into turn 1.
Restarts are always the most dangerous part. We're trying to take a look back through the field. Best look at what's going on when we're on back.
Got Brogdon there trying to battle his way back up through here. Has fresh tires, has enough gas. See what he's able to do.
So a little bit of contact. Beautiful day here in Richmond.
Great. Track temp is cooled down to nice 98
Oh,
degrees.
spin! 5 just went
5.
around.
That's Brogdon. That is Brogdon too. Caution is out again.
The 5 was Richard Mills. He did a pirouette right in front of Jeff Brogdon.
We'll have to go back and take a look at that one, Rick, see what happened.
I think it was just on his own. He just coming on to.
Nowhere for Brogdon to go, but he did
Nope.
the best he could to try to avoid him.
Exactly. So this is the case where you typically see you're coming off a 2. It's easy when you get back in the throttle, especially with fresh tires, to make a mistake. And the 14 did the best he could to try and minimize the contact, but unfortunately, there was a little bit there. Not too bad, I don't think. 5 held it up at the wall. Good for him, as a lot of drivers made their way past. And Scott Thomas currently on pit road, 79. All right, well, we didn't get too many green flag laps in there before this caution flew.
You know what they say, cautions breed cautions.
Absolutely. And again, that restart is always the most challenging part, especially on these short tracks, because you're building up that big head of speed coming out of 4, and then you've got to figure out your braking zone. But now you're tight door to door coming into 1 and then exiting off onto 2. It's one thing to do it by yourself or in line with others, but to do it in a pack, that's challenging for even the best driver.
It's tough. It really is tough.
All right, thank you again. Just trying to put it out there for those who are watching along the IWM broadcast network here of the iRacing. I'm sorry, I made your mistake. In the iNASCAR Federated Auto Parts 200 here, brought to you by the iNASCAR Racing Series. We appreciate you tuning in, and we hope to see you in the future on future broadcasts of this new league for IWM.
We couldn't be happier to have them on board and have a partnership with them, for the season. So it's good to see. Obviously, it's in the middle of their season, but Rick, it's awesome to be a part of what they do here in the iNASCAR Racing Series.
Yeah, and talking with the guys that started the league, there's a lot of symmetry in how they started to ourselves and also to the other leagues that we're involved with. A lot of synergy there, and that's what we look for, especially in opportunities like this. So.
Exactly, and if you have a league out there that you want professional broadcasting done, just like we're providing tonight for the iNASCAR Racing Series, feel free to reach out to any of us. Would love to have a conversation with you to bring your league to the forefront of YouTube and some new audiences, to get some new eyeballs on your particular series. So make sure to reach out to us there. We have our email and our YouTube profile, so you can go to that if you're watching us on YouTube. Rick, looks like...
Yeah, we're about to go back to green flag racing.
There we go. Boo, a little bit of a stack up there on the bottom side, Rick, which is going to let the 81 get a great lead going into turn 1 again. Brogdon's there, trying to make his way back up through the field. Currently in the 8th. No car sideways right in front of Brogdon. They are going in the right direction. There we go.
Always a challenge trying to work your way back up through the field.
It is, because it's a dangerous task to make your way back up through. So we'll see how they're able to do, and how Brogdon's able to make his way back up. I know we keep on talking about him, so let's see what else is going on in the field. Josh Douglas up 14, Matt Allen up 11, and Vince Burns up 8 positions, methodically making their way up to the front of the pack.
Get the 55 of Vince Burns. He's deep in the pack there, working his way up. He's got the 10 of Vernon Broderick. So on the inside, he's got the 42 of Tony Japs right there as well. And these guys running a bit nose to tail. They kind of broke apart and settled down a bit. There is a little bit bigger battle up there for that position with the 17 of Simon Magin. He's got the 76 of Audette in front of him. That's the 127 of Matt Allen making his way up. That's a pretty big mover there. He's jumped up 10 spots. He's now up to 8th. He's got Jeff Brogdon right in front of him. And in front of those guys, there's a pretty good battle up there with Travis Bennett and Josh Douglas. They're side by side.
Side by side, and we'll see how they're able to keep on battling as this race goes on. Side by side racing here, it pulls the car behind you closer, and it puts the car in front of you a little bit further on the head out your window. So side by side is not the way you want to go. It looks like he was able to make that pass.
Oh, there's definitely some racing that's happening right behind those. That's the 94, the 10. That 94 is Michael Whitley. The 10 is the Broadbeck car. And that 76 is Audette. Going to make his way around.
Saved it.
Yeah, he did save it. But unfortunately, right before, that's the 55 that just wound up blocking them up. Again, mighty racing here, John. Mighty racing.
Yep, 3 wide. They thought better of it going into turn 1. That 2x2x2 coming out of turn 2. Typically, that doesn't. They all kind of singled out right there. But 55 there progresses. That is Vince Burns in front of this pack.
Yeah, we're looking back at we're focusing a bit here on the back of the pack, but there's some great racing, some aggressive driving happening in the back here as these guys try to work their way back up. There's that 5 again of Richard Mills trying to get back up. With all the drama, Richard has stayed on the lead lap.
He has. I mean, that's impressive for that machine, able to keep up there with everything he's been a part of, running at 15th. That's a win in my book. Yeah, this field looks like it's spinning out just a little bit. And also, what's interesting, looks like Corey Bunch is checking out. He just ran one of the fastest laps of the race, 22.6, and a few laps to go. So we're able to see Corey take over this race so far.
Absolutely. So behind Corey, you've got Jordan Wenzel. He's right there, about almost a full second behind Travis Bennett. There's a battle that's kind of queued up here with Jeff Brogdon he is now up under the 30 of Alex Murphy on the bumper of the 12, looking to try to make a move and get around the 12 of Eric Jeffers.
77 to go. These positions matter very much so for Jeff Brogdon, but Corey Bunch, Jordan Wenzel, Bennett, they don't want to see that number 14 get any closer to them at all. They are hoping that it takes some time for this number 14 machine to get around these guys, and right now has about a 3.1 second lead over Brogdon. That is Corey Bunch. So 3 seconds separate one of the best drivers, the point leader right now, and the current leader of this race.
Well, and the thing to consider, John, is that Jeff Brogdon went in on lap 99 for tires. Everybody he's racing with right now last pitted 30 laps earlier on lap 68.
Sure, and he probably has fuel too. He probably has 30 laps to the good. So what is that going to do strategy-wise? That's going to be the conversation, because you have to think about it. Okay, you come down pit road late, you possibly could make it a little bit further, but what is the net gain? Because everybody is definitely going to have to come down pit road one more time, I believe. So we'll see how his strategy plays out. Now at 3.2 seconds back in the 4th spot.
All right, taking a look back through the field. Kind of stretching out a bit here, don't you think?
Yeah, it really has, which is awesome to see, because green flag racing is something that at Richmond I really love to see in a spread out field. You're able to see who's able to make their way up through the front. Definitely a fixed league, not an open setup league. So from what I understand, is that correct, Rick?
That's my understanding as well.
Yep, so it's definitely who can manage their tires and race this car the best equal playing field here tonight with setup wise. So the cream will rise to the top.
There's a little bit of a movement up at the front. Alex Murphy is in 5th. The 12 of Eric Jeffers is now in 6th. Eric Jeffers had just passed. Jeffers and Murphy have been swapping positions.
They have been. We'll see how this battle, takes place and who's able to get ahead right now. We have did that driver come down pit road?
Yep, that was Jason Howell.
Yep.
Yeah, Jason Howell came down and he had a full pit stop here at lap 128.
So he will have fresher tires than the leaders as we approach 68 laps to go, 69.
The only other car that has, I guess, next in line would be Scott Thomas in the 79. Scott's running right now back in 17th, but he pitted last on lap 109. But your leaders, Corey Bunch, pitted last on lap 68, and he is doing his best to work his way around. If you do the math, John, I mean, this is lap 133. He pitted last on lap 68. So those guys that pitted recently on 99, they're going to be able to get back. I'm not sure. Oh, it's 67 laps to go. I'm trying to find the calculator. He's reached a point where he could just do it. I think right about right here, 65 is the point at which you can take tires and fuel and be good to go for the rest of the race.
Yeah, it's making it to that point, and right now with Jeff Brogdon on that alternate strategy, he has about 30 laps of fresher tires, 30 laps to the good on fuel comparatively to the leader of Corey Bunch. And right now, yes, that is where we're sitting, trying to determine who's going to make that first mark, who's going to short pit maybe. We'll see, and we'll see if Brogdon, which I would imagine he would, stay out on this run when the leaders come down pit road. And as it stands right now, we have a close battle for second, third, and fourth starting to heat up. Brogdon has caught the tail end of the number 01 machine.
Yep, Jordan Wenzel, Travis Bennett, and Jeff Brogdon not too far behind. You've got the 30 of Alex Murphy, but certainly, again, he's on fresher tires.
He is, and he may just be managing the load there on his tires just to have a little bit of fresher life towards the end, because obviously when he stays out, he'll have 30 laps fewer, well, depending on when the other drivers come down pit road, which looks like we may have one right now. I believe that is
Jordan
Wenzel
Wenzel,
coming
that's
down
your
pit
leader.
road. Pit road, yep, he's coming down.
So we should expect to see a number of drivers, Michael Whitney, as well as Matt Allen, also on pit road. This is just a very slow pit road. It's just hard to get off and around. Let's see what he does. Is it just right side? Nope, it's a four-tire chain.
Yep.
And so now he's gone down a lap. It's just what you would expect here.
Yep, he's going to have much quicker lap times comparatively to the leaders, so we'll see what that delta will be when they come down pit road. Corey Bunch still
Douglas,
out front.
Alex Murphy also now on pit road.
So your current running order with everybody out on the track and some down pit road, you have Corey Bunch, Bennett, Brogdon, Jeffers, and Magin.
58 laps to go. I'm guessing you're going to see Corey Bunch coming down soon. Travis Bennett, who's currently in second, coming down soon. Eric Jeffers as well as as well as the middle of the field, you've got Mills, Audette, and Japs also due in. We're inside with Corey Bunch.
Yep, Corey right now riding around, getting some laps led, and currently 3.2 seconds over Travis Bennett in second.
So his last lap time, John, was a 23:42. That's still a respectable lap. We saw we've got other guys out there that are in the mid to high 24s who have been out there on tires, but certainly, you know, the guys he's around. If you look at Jeff Brogdon's last lap, it was a 23:54. So he's right there matching race pace.
He is, and let's ride on board with Mr. Bunch, see what he's doing here in the lead here in this 93 machine. Gonna probably start braking here. Yep, he does. Let's off the gas. Gonna roll it through the center, get back on the throttle here, get blinded by the sun a little bit, and make your way down the backstretch.
Does not upshift, saves that for coming out of turn 4. Right, upshift right at the start-finish line.
Yep, smooth and consistent. Smooth and consistent wheel there from the 93 of Corey Bunch.
I mean, that is the preferred line right there to hug that yellow coming out of 2. A little bit of a slip there.
He has 2 wins on the season, so he would jump over Alex Murphy and tie Jordan Wenzel for the third most wins on the season, which would put him tied for third in the playoffs. So we'll see if he can get home that win. Jeff Brogdon now up to second. Rick Brogdon up to second, has 6 wins on the season. Travis Bennett, he is going to be a driver that is on the outside looking in, trying to close in on Brogdon with 5 wins right now. So top 3 between those drivers, 13 wins, if my math is
Let's
correct.
jump back here, John. Just take a look at something that popped up, possibly with Alex Murphy. Let's back
No
that
caution.
up. No caution came out.
I'm very surprised at that. That is shocking.
Lost it out of 4. Big damage, big hit, but I think at this point, Alex just towed into the pits.
Yeah, but I mean, Rick, a car wrecked on the start finish line. I'm shocked that no caution was thrown.
All right, Corey Bunch and a lot of your other folks that have made it now down onto pit road. Corey Bunch is now out. Travis Bennett is on pit road. Tony Japs, Eric Jeffers. And that jumbles the field back up. Guess who that puts back on top?
The Cheeto machine of Mr. Brogdon. Up to the point. Now he does have 30 lap fresher tires versus everybody else, so we'll see how long he stays out, but expect pit stops coming here in the next 15 laps for that number 14 machine.
So I would, guessing that so there's a number of guys who are still out, all took tires and fuel back on lap 99, 92 for Simon Magin, that these guys are not going to let the guys who just went in stay on fresher tires for too long. They're going to come down relatively quickly, and in fact, as I say that, the 17 is now on pit road.
17's on pit road, and almost the entire field has made their way down. And looking at particularly
here we go.
Some lap times. Here's the 14.
Yeah, you just can't.
45 to go.
It makes no sense to stay out there when you know you could be running at off speed by a significant value to lose that advantage.
And right now, what we're going to see is specifically if he can leapfrog some of these guys that are going to be behind him when it comes to that. Looking specifically at Corey Bunch, that is a driver I'm going to be looking at now. We'll see what he's able to do. Corey Bunch just now passes, go through turn 1, and there goes Brogdon out. That's going to drop Brogdon pretty far back comparatively. Brogdon now out of pit road as the 900 Bunch coming out of 4.
Interesting enough, I don't think that backed him up too far.
7 seconds.
He's going to wind up coming out in 5th.
Looks like 7 seconds is the gap between the provisional leader, which will be Corey Bunch. Scott Thomas is showing us a little right now, but Scott Thomas has not pit yet.
No, he's pitted last on lap 109. He's definitely hoping for a caution to try and retain a little bit of position. Once Scott Thomas goes in, your leader will be Corey Bunch. You got Jordan Wenzel, Travis Bennett, Jeff Brogdon, Eric Jeffers, Matt Allen, Michael Whitney, Josh Douglas, Martin Giroux, Tony Jeps, and yes, Simon Magin are there, and they are in your top 10. Oh, wrecking, there's that caution.
Caution, there it is. That's exactly what Thomas was looking for.
That's Jeremy Briggs. Looks like he wrecked and wind up back in the pits. Let's go back and look at that. There's that correction, and then you wind up in the wall. All right, caution is back out. With 40 laps to go.
4-0. See some guys coming down pit road, trying to make some decisions.
You've got, this is a big group. Jordan Wenzel, Travis Bennett, Eric Jeffers, Matt Allen, Josh Douglas, Tony Japs. All these guys that come in just before are now on pit road. You know, if you've got that set of tires that's fresh, you might as well just come in.
Sure.
All right, so this round of pit stops, as we begin to wind down here, has jumbled up the field a little bit. Once they get settled in, we'll go back and give you the top 15, because that is the total that I see that's currently on the lead lap.
That is correct.
All right, looks like your top Corey Bunch, Jeff Brogdon, Martin Giroux is in third. Good move up to him. Scott Thomas is up in fourth. Big mover there. He started 14th. Simon Magin is in fifth. Jordan Wenzel in sixth. Travis Bennett in seventh. Eighth is Eric Jeffers. Ninth is Michael Whitley. And Josh Douglas is in 10th. Not sure if there's any wave arounds at this point.
Don't see any. Yeah, don't see any.
Thinking those three cars there will get a wave around. That's Audette, Burns, and Broadbeck.
Sun setting here in the Richmond Hills. 36 laps to go.
Yep.
Got some wave rounds, and we're going to get the green flag next time by Rick. Look who's up in the high line.
Yep, he made his way back up. We certainly expected it. He's obviously got number of wins this season, leading the top of the points.
Yep.
We've seen him battle back. So.
Exactly. You have Giroux there in third and fourth with Thomas, and it's going to be a very interesting race as some drivers who need wins are up there battling with drivers who more or less don't need wins. Pace car dives down, Bunch at the control. And we're back to green flag racing here with 35 to go at the line. And here comes the 14 around the top. Let's see if we can get it done. Not able to do it this time, but field makes their way off the back.
Oh, there's contact there.
Some 3 wide going into 3.
Tough to hold that together. We're doing our best to spotlight what's going on in the back of the pack.
A lot of giving and a little bit of taking right now going on between those drivers in 4th, 5th, and 6th. All battling for position as this race goes on.
A good number of these guys are looking for not even just to get back up and win. There's contact. The 01 tapped the bumper of the 79. You know, hey, I'm back here. That's Scott Thomas in the 79. You know, all these guys are battling within the top 10. We're keeping our eye on the front.
34 definitely lost some spots there. Or about 94.
Guys are beginning to find their spot. That 79 continues to go wide and winds up in a tough spot. That may just be his line, but he winds up high in that third outside line.
He does, and right now looks like Corey Bunch is the fastest lap of the race a few laps ago with a 22.551, 6,000th of a second faster than Jordan Wenzel in third. Those are the two fastest cars on the track right now.
All right, we're keeping an eye on our leader. That's Corey Bunch. He's definitely got a gap of nearly a second in front of the second place Jeff Brogdon. But Jeff is in a battle with Jordan Wenzel right here for second place. But while they're doing that, they've got a pretty good gap over the balance of the field.
They do. I mean, you have Travis Bennett in fourth, Eric Jeffers in fifth, Scott Thomas in sixth, all kind of hanging around the same part of the track, and the only drivers that have a chance currently at the moment are the 14 of Brogdon and the 80 of Wenzel. Looks like we also are about.
Go ahead.
I was going to say we also are about to approach a car a lap down. That could affect a little bit of the front runners here, depending on what that car does. We always obviously saw what happened with Brogdon there, getting involved with a lap down car a little bit earlier in the race. Obviously, didn't affect him much. He's still right there in second, but we'll see how this plays out.
Yeah, he's picking up the 23 of Richard Smith.
You know, Wenzel is looking for a way around Brogdon. Not sure if he's going to be able to find it on that high side, but he's going to try for sure. And he does have the run. He has some room on the high side coming out of two. Still there. And it'll be interesting with the 23. What is the 23 going to do, knowing these guys are going to battle side by side coming out of the corner?
He gave it to the leader, but he's not quite giving it up quite yet on. In fact, he backs up Jordan Wenzel. He stayed high. Jordan thought he was going to pass him, I think, on the outside.
Yeah, I think that was just a matter of, lap down cars and how they affect the race. And it just happens. You have to get around them clean, and sometimes they become a roadblock. And, we see oftentimes where drivers will use them as a pick.
So Jordan Wenzel just did tap the wall right there at the start-finish line. 22 laps to go here at Richmond.
22 to go, and we have a fourth car entering the picture a little bit, is the 01 of Travis Bennett. Not sure if that's because of the lap down car, but he has started to enter the picture just slightly with these leaders. Just 1 second back.
Going back to the field, you've got Eric Jeffers behind. He's at number 12. Scott Thomas, we talked about Scott Thomas today. Great move up for him with 20 laps to go. He's now up 8 positions to 6th. Josh Douglas, another big win of the day. Josh is up to 7th. And Matt Allen in that 127, he is now up to 8th. Vernon Broderick, yellow flag is out.
Oh, this changes everything, Rick. Yellow flag with 20, just under 20 laps to go. What do you do?
Let's
You
go
come
back
down pit road if you're a leader?
So it looks like it was the 10 car. That's Vernon Brodbeck. He trying to save it. Oh, and unfortunately, he got punted. Let's back that up. That's the 17 of, I think that's Simon Magin. Let's back that up just a little bit here.
It is Simon Magin. You know, if the NFL is looking for a punter, Simon may be your guy. That was a textbook punt right there. Obviously, nothing that the 17 could do, of course. All fun and games. Let's see what happened here.
Yeah,
Somebody got out of the way.
He
Nowhere
tried.
to go.
Nowhere to go. Oh, and also contact. I'm not really sure who that purple car was.
Not sure, but Rick, we have the leaders down pit road.
Yep, we're seeing Brogdon, Bunch.
All
Bennett.
take right side tires.
They all did. Okay, 17 laps to go, probably 15 by the time we go back to green flag racing. These guys are going to wind up somewhere mid-pack.
That's not what these guys were looking for at all. You know, being mid-pack, it's going to be hard, but you have Jordan Winsel out front, Scott Thomas, you know, Josh Douglas there. I mean, let's just put this into perspective. You know, Josh Douglas, 45 to the good when it comes to where he sits in the playoffs. Jordan Winsel obviously has 3 wins, but let's look at Scott Thomas. Scott Thomas is on the outside looking in. He is 19th in points right now. Could we have an upset there and have another driver in? Let's look at Matt Allen. He is the bubble driver in 16th. Michael Whitley, let's talk about him. He is 12th in points, 61 to the good. So all these drivers up here in the top 5 have something that they are trying to get accomplished, is get a win and get into the playoffs. With 15 to go, I like my chances on the front runners.
Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, even any of those top 5 drivers finishing in the top 5 is great points for them. They need every single point they can get to either improve their position or stay ahead of that cut line.
Exactly, and one of those drivers right now is Josh Douglas, obviously. You have Matt Allen and Whitley Jr. All those guys need points for sure. You know, and with Scott Thomas, he right now is the biggest mover when it would be coming to the playoff drivers right now. He's up 12, obviously, in the race, but him being in 19th, could he have anything for that number 81? I am not sure. Also, it looks like the front of that number 79 machine kind of looks like a Nissan GTR.
He's got a Nissan logo on the side of his car. He may have decided to has a special paint on that car. So.
I think so. I remember we had an Audi in one of our leagues, Rick, and that was very unique to see. And now we have a GTR. It looks like some other manufacturers are making their way into some other leagues. Very cool to see. But Rick, it's down to it, 14 to go. You have a driver who's won 3 and a driver who has won none at the front.
All right, 13 at the stripe. Jordan Wenzel takes them down.
8 drives in very deep. He is still looking on the outside in.
Spinning in the back.
And a wreck happened. 76.
The 76 of Jared Audette. We're watching the 76 of Jared Audette here on replay. There's a bump in front of him. The 55 taps the back end of the 93, comes down and also contacts the 76. So it really was the 55. The 17 taps the 76. There's a lot of little taps and not much damage, but certainly kind of ruins your day from a position standpoint.
It does, and what this is going to do is that moves Brogdon up to 5th. Corey Bunch back in 13th, not what Corey wanted at all. So we'll see what he's able to do. As nightfall has come over Richmond, so a day race turned into basically a night race with 11 laps to go.
Well, when these caution laps expire, they wind up only having 7 or 8 laps to finish this race. I'm sure there are some green-white checkers here that we may go into overtime. We'll have to see how it goes.
We shall see, but at the point, let's run through your top 5. You have Jordan Wentzel been out front all day long, making a great run here with Josh Douglas, your biggest mover of the race, looking for a win. Scott Thomas there, 19th in points, up 11 positions. Matt Allen, again, looking for a win. But then you have your point leader, your this driver this season in the iNASCAR Racing Series, Jeff Brogdon, up in 5th. So you have a lot of drivers kind of sandwiched between the top couple of points. And with 10 to go, anything can happen. And just imagine Scott Thomas all the way from 19th, stealing a win from some of these guys right under their noses, especially Brogdon. Would be wild to see.
All right, just a few laps left. We're going to be in single digits once this race goes back to green flag racing. Jordan Wentzel will be your control car. Jordan's had success all race long, taking that low line, that inside track, as he gets to choose where he is going to line up. My guess is he will go back to what's worked, and that's going to be on the inside. So we'll go back. This is lap 9. We are still under caution. We'll go lap 8. So we'll go back to green flag on lap 7.
Yep, 7 to go. It's going to be a wild one, and I love the call of staying out here because of the fact that you'll be able to see a little difference in the tires, but when the tires heat up, that's when you'll see the biggest difference. And I don't think 7 laps is enough for some of these drivers to get back up to the point. Now, Brogdon might surprise us if we have another caution. But right now, I'm betting on one of these front 3 really to get it done.
Now, incidentally, those front 4, Wentzel, Douglas, Thomas, and Allen, all pitted last on lap 161. Then you've got Jeff Brogdon, who's there, who pitted on lap 183. And then behind him, everybody pitted on that same lap. So they've got about 20 better laps to the good. But, a lot of these laps have been under caution. So really, they're on fresh tires.
They really are. And, it's going to be very difficult, I think, for that 14 of Brogdon to make his way up through the field. Same thing with Bennett and Jeffers. But we'll see how this plays out. 7 to go when they hit the line. All cards are on the table. Everybody knows that it's a battle to the end. They're about to enter the Geico restart zone, and we are back to racing. Got a good launch by the 81. 8 is able to not yet clear the 79 going into turn 1, but he does now. Contact made between the 127 and the 8 sends the 8 up the track as they battle out of 2.
Keeping an eye on the field as we begin to wind down. The 14 takes the high side, moves his way up there, trying to work his way around those cars on that lower line. That 127 is his way.
3 wide going into 1, Rick.
That is not going to make for the...
Car wrecking in the back. Turn spinning.
That's the 17.
High side.
We're still green. That's the 17 that's run in the back. That Simon.
55 is sideways and wrecking. 55 sideways and wrecking the middle of the field. Oh, Brogdon got into it. We're wrecking. Big wreck on the front, Rick. Big wreck on the front. I don't know how many drivers survived that. There's a lot to unpack here.
There is. All right, we're doing our best here as they go in 3 wide. 94 comes down in front of the 79. 55 is low. He gets tapped by the 12 and becomes a pinball in this with the 79 contact. 93 takes evasive action. Not too bad.
Then he has some cars up in the start-finish line getting involved here.
I think Corey Bunch may have also gone off. We'll follow the 93.
Oh, hard hit for the 01 and the 42.
Big contact there.
And that Ford Performance Ford.
Yeah, I think Corey Bunch wound up going off-roading as well. Okay. That means we are probably going to wind up in overtime.
We are. We're in overtime here on the IWM Broadcast Network, and right now, Wenzel, Douglas, Allen, Bennett, and Brogdon. Nothing's changed really out of these top 3 or 4 or 5 drivers. So nope. Status quo.
And so if you're tuning in for the first time, or this is your first experience with NASCAR when we mentioned overtime, or you've heard the phrase green-white checker, let's get a quick understanding of what that means. That means when next time the green flag drops, the drivers have 1 lap to come around. They'll take the white flag, and then if we're good to there, whatever happens after that is how we finish this race. If a caution comes out once the green flag drops, but not the white flag, we'll do this all over again.
And how fun that will be.
You know, this is the point of a race. You've raced for 200 laps. You need to get a win. This is the time we see that those acts of desperation come out with these drivers to get that next spot.
It is, and we'll see how it performs when it comes to that desperation perspective, because it's definitely going to be a factor as this race goes into the night, and as we get further in, who's going to make that move? Is it going to be Bennett who needs a win, or Allen who needs a win? Who knows? But right now, all I know is Josh Douglas, looking from the outside in, is very interested. I know from his perspective on trying to maybe secure a dub and get himself locked in.
Yeah, so Matt Allen and Travis Bennett will be they're in the second line to these leaders. But then you've got that cheetah right there, sitting right there back in 5th on that inside line. He's waiting to pounce.
He is, and he may be able to do it here. He may take it 3 wide going into turn 1. Obviously, you cannot change your lane before the start-finish line, so that is in effect here. But like you said, he is ready to pounce there in that Cheetos Camaro. Pace car is about to drop down, and it does. We're nose to tail, 3 to go. Green flag back in the air, and the 81 gets a great jump. The 01 is now pushing the 8 down into turn 1. 8 is, big run out of the 8.
Big run, a little bit too big of a run.
And the 01 cuts him off, and the 127 is sideways wrecking. We're wrecking to the back. That's Brogdon.
Brogdon got turned. He's got some major front-end damage. Cautions back out. We're going to rack and stack and do this all over again. But Matt Allen, the 55 is involved. We got Brogdon, Mills, Vince Burns, all tangled up.
Brogdon had to tow. That's going to be the end of the night for Brogdon, Rick.
Let's go back and figure out just what happened. We're behind the 127 of Matt Allen here. He loses it a bit, and then there's that overcorrection, and right in front of the 14, who then gets tapped by the 12. right into the inside wall.
Nowhere to go.
Nowhere
Just
to go.
unfortunate situation. Unfortunate situation for these drivers. Here's the 55 looking to the left side. See what happens in front of these drivers right here. There's the 5 trying to escape. 83 gets into the left side of the 55. Both slide up the track. That also gets
That's a
another
93
driver
involved.
involved. There's a 5 again in the 17 in the high line. So, it's going to happen. It's a part of racing. And right now, a lot of tore up race cars. And welcome to Richmond. Welcome to Richmond.
Yeah, I think that really is the end of the 14. Unfortunately, he was involved in an earlier incident that he may have used his quick repair on.
Possibly.
All right, this is our second time to get this done. Jordan Wenzel is still up front. Travis Bennett will be to his outside. And you'll have Josh Douglas back there in third behind Jordan Wenzel. Michael Whitney has moved up to fourth. He started in, I think, 11th. He's moved up pretty quickly. The other big mover besides Josh Douglas, obviously he started 19th. He is sitting up at third. You've got Richard Smith. He started in 23rd. He's now showing in 10th. He was at the tail end of the field. And here we are about to finish, and he's made his way top 10.
Hey, sometimes it's just a matter of sticking around and hoping that everybody else has some bad luck, and we've seen that unfold here tonight in the iNASCAR Racing Series, the iNASCAR Federated Auto Parts 200. We appreciate everybody for tuning in and watching along, and we want to thank everybody that is a part of this and was able to help us join here with the iNASCAR Racing Series to broadcast one of their events. And stay tuned. We're going to be broadcasting many more of their races going forward on Thursday night. So you do not want to miss a thing. Hit that subscribe button and even hit that notification bell. You'll be notified every time that there's a broadcast here on the IWM Broadcast Network. Of course, open night at 7:30 Central Time, 8:30 Eastern Time, and on Thursdays 8 o'clock Central Time, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. That's correct. Yes. Okay.
That is correct. Yep. You did good.
I was a little bit late. Did some traveling today, and here we go. Just like these guys are about to travel into their second restart. Big stack up. That is going to be a big change in this race. The inside line didn't jump there. A little bit of a jump from the outside.
Spinning.
79 sideways. Another caution is out here at Richmond. This is the final green-white checkered, Rick. This next green-white checker will be the last. So, right, let's go back and dissect this a little bit if we can.
I think that was Scott Thomas in the 79. Go back and take a look at that. Tapped by the 76 of Audette. That sends him sailing. Everybody else seemed to get through clearly, but no real damage on the 79, but unfortunately brought out the yellow flag, which will be, again, as John had mentioned, that'll be their last. So whatever happens, happens here.
Whatever happens, happens.
So this really has jumbled up the top 5. Wetzel, Bennett, Whitley, Jeffers, and Japs. That's the 5 of Richard Mills, able to try and get at least one of his laps back. right, these fans are staying to the end of this race. They're not going anywhere.
I wouldn't. It's been a hard battle up in the front. I don't know who's going to be able to bring it home. Obviously, Winslow has been able to get a great restart, but we've seen some mishaps here. We'll see who's able to bring this race home.
I mean, congrats to Jordan Wenzel. Just even to this point, he has stayed up front, consistently since pretty much mid-race.
He really has, and what a run. I mean, it proves to be why he is here in the top of the series when it comes to wins and the points. So we'll see how this race unfolds here. Wonder if we're going to get one to go this time by.
They're bringing
Looks
back
like
up the points list. Looking again, now Jeff Brogdon, he is pretty much out of the race. Travis Bennett is sitting second. He is second in points here. Jordan Wenzel is in third in the points, and he is in first here. So this should be an interesting battle between these two drivers. They'll be side by side, both with wins. And the drivers behind them, both looking for a win.
Funny who makes their way up through the field at the end of a race like this, and you may see some unexpected names and unexpected faces up there to the front. Let's talk about some of these names that could make a splash into the standings. Obviously, Michael Whitley Jr. there, he is 12th in points. You have Eric Jeffers, he getting a win, lock him in, even though he is in on points right now. Travis Bennett as well. He would then improve to a tie for first when it comes to that based off of wins here. So Wenzel obviously up there. Troy, he's sitting right there at the cutoff line at 15. So what a run by him. He is definitely going to improve his potential position as long as nothing happens to him. So a lot of point standing implications at the end of this race, Rick. But this is it. This is the final green-white checker. This will decide the race. Next flag will end the race if we get a yellow before the white. Pace car is off. And we are back to green flag racing. 0-1 with the great restart on the outside of the 81. What's going to happen as they go into turn 1? 0-1, big launch into 1.
Side-by-side battle coming out of 2.
0-1's there.
Oh, little bobble when 0-1.
He is still there battling side by side with the 81. White flag in the air. We are going to get to race this to the end between the 81 and the 01, but don't look out. Here comes the 94, Michael Whitley.
Charging back, 50 in the wall.
Oh, 01's loose. Here comes the 94. 01 blocks to the inside, but the 94 is there.
94 right off the rear bumper of the 01, tight, and the 81 of Jordan Wenzel wins here at Richmond.
Got a car sideways coming across the line. That was a 42. Did it in style, but Wenzel wins tonight's iNASCAR Federated Auto Parts 200. That is going to move him up to 4 wins on the season. He is the actual current regular season point leader. And they are now posing for an awesome picture. And let's think about that 94 of Whitley, what he's able to do now with that third place finishing position. He's going to move himself even a little bit closer to locking himself into these playoffs as this season goes on. The 0-1 of Travis Bennett, he's second, going to stay in second. We'll see how that plays out, obviously, point-wise. But with 5 wins, he's locked in there, Rick. What a race.
Absolutely. The great battle for that last green-white checker. You saw fabulous battle with the 01 and the 81. Great picture there at the end of the race, and time to celebrate. Jordan Wenzel gets to do some donuts here as he finishes up and celebrates his win. We'll get the top 3 in the race race lobby, and we'll get them here in the broadcast booth. And get some post-race interviews. Don't go anywhere.
Let's do it. At the top of the screen, you'll see the finishing order here tonight. Winsel in first, Bennett in second, Whitley in third, Jeffers in fourth, Japs rounding out your top five, Giroux in sixth, Douglas, Audette, Smith, and Magin rounding out your top 10, Corey Bunch in 11th, Matt Allen in 12th, Scott Thomas and Vince Burns round out 13 and 14th with Richard Mills in 15th, Martin Pinnell in 16th, Jeff Brogdon unfortunately 13 laps down in 17th, and Vernon Brodbeck there in P18. In 19th, you have Hale, 21st, Alex Murphy, 22nd rather, Roberts there, and Dan Hughes rounds out your 23 car field here for tonight. And it looks like the 81 has made his way to victory lane on the front stretch.
He sure has. He sure has. So looking forward to getting these guys in the broadcast booth. See if I can locate Michael Whitney here. Michael, congratulations and welcome to the broadcast booth. Fabulous finish.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Definitely was a roller coaster of a night for me. Richmond was not my best track in the spring. So come out here with a top three is pretty good in my book.
Absolutely. You started 11th, I believe, and moved up and finished top three. That's awesome.
Yeah, I was really happy to kind of climb through the field. Strategy kind of fell into my favor there. Got spun a couple times there early, and the way the strategy fell and the cautions flew, kind of was able to leapfrog some people with some tire strategy and hop on up to the top three.
All right. Well, congratulations on your P3 finish. Any shout-outs you'd like to make tonight?
Well, first off, thank y'all, man. It's great to have a good broadcast crew in here. We were kind of keeping eyes on y'all during the race, and y'all do a fantastic job. And then shout out to our team going 1, 2, 3, 4 tonight. So,
yeah, congratulations. That's awesome. That's Full Throttle Motorsports. And speaking of that, if you want to hang out, we'll bring Travis into the broadcast booth.
All right, yeah.
Travis, congratulations on your second place finish. That was pretty awesome. Battle between yourself and Jordan on that last green-white checker.
Yeah, thanks, Rick.
So as you lined up with your teammate there at the very end there, 1, 2, 3, 4, any chat, any thoughts before you on that launch?
No, none at all. It seems like, we're all on one team, but definitely keep some secrets. You can't show your hands to anybody, because me and Jordan, we're battling for points, so you know how it is.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Yep. You and Jordan there battling for points. Second and third in the standings. With 4 races to go before the playoffs start. What's your approach as you carry the podium into the next race and into the playoffs?
Win. Basically, trying to get as many of those wins I can get, and maybe trying to climb up there in the points lead, so I can get that 16-point bonus there.
All right. Any shout-outs you'd like to make tonight?
Just shout out to the admins, shout out to everybody on Full Throttle Motorsports. We actually played clean. I know you guys probably missed out at the beginning of the season or the Winter League, but it was kind of running joke that if we all run up front, we usually wreck each other, and we did not do that tonight.
No, saw some good clean racing. 1, 2, 3, 4, actually 5. You had Tony Japs there also in the race results. So yeah, great race by Full Throttle Motorsports. If you'd like, hang out. We're going to bring your race winner into the broadcast booth.
All right.
Jordan, congratulations on your win here at Richmond.
Why, thank you.
We were just remarking prior to that last green-white checker that you just ran a great clean race. You were always, especially in the second half of this race, you always took that low line that seemed to work the best for you.
Yeah, it's so difficult to pass around here that I was like, if I can hold this line, I think that I can just hold this for the entire race. And Corey was way quicker than me, same with Jeff, but they both got caught up and stuff, and I just got lucky and got through it.
Yeah, with you sitting in third in points, you moved to 4 wins on the season. I asked your teammate about this, but what does this do with momentum wise, and what is your plan with 4 races to go before the playoffs?
Well, right now I got the regular season's points, but that's still a very close battle. So I'm hoping to just get more wins and get these playoff points so that I can try to be safe all the way till that round of 4 and not have to be stressing out the entire time.
Well, again, congratulations on not only your win but your team's success, getting team points there. I'm assuming that getting 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. That's pretty amazing finish for a team. We hope good luck next week, and we'll catch up with you later in the season.
Alrighty.
All right, any shout outs, Jordan, before we wrap it up?
Well, I got shout out all of Full Throttle Motorsports doing so well today. I don't know if you were here or if you've seen any of the late model stuff, but our especially me and Travis, our bumpers seemed locked together during that series. So it's nice that we didn't do a repeat on that.
Absolutely. All right, folks. Thanks for tuning in to the IWM broadcast of the iNASCAR Federated Auto Parts 200 here at Richmond. Congratulations to our winner, Jordan Wenzel, for his win tonight. And we'll see you next time at this event. And have a great night.
Good night, all.